But those funds are expiring at the end of this month, and it could force nearly 70,000 child care programs to close, according to the Century Foundation. So to give us more insight into how parents can navigate this, David Peters, the founder of the David Peters Financial Group, is joining me now. David, what exactly is expiring?
Well, so during the pandemic, the government was giving child care centers some additional funding in order to help them keep their doors open, and that funding is going away. And so what we're worried about is we are worried about the fact that without that additional funding, those centers are going to have to somehow make up for that cash flow. And so while, it's possible that they could look to maybe cut costs somewhere, the most likely response is going to be that they're just going to raise rates. And that could certainly make things a whole lot tighter for American working families.
Okay, so higher prices certainly is one adverse effect. Other ways, David, and maybe more specific ways that this could affect families.
Well, I think that it makes it just tougher for families to work. I mean, I think that, it makes it so that now they have to worry about what they are going to do with their children in order to allow them to work. It also may force families to make some decisions around possibly, one parent maybe staying home in order to take care of the children in order to avoid that cost. Some families might decide that, hey, that reduced cost might be worth actually one of the parents not working. Another option, of course, is maybe trying to find a new job that is maybe paying a little bit higher. But I think especially right now, that might be a tough thing to do.
So how should families navigate these changes and the potential closures of some of these key locations?
Well, there's no real easy answers, but I do think that there probably are some options. One is that you could look for childcare maybe within your neighborhood, maybe friends, family, things like that. That may be an option. It may also be an option, like I said, to possibly have in a situation where it's a two-earner household, maybe having one of the parents stay home with the children. Maybe what you could do is you could also maybe share the cost around people that are in the neighborhood, because a lot of families are probably going to be going through the same thing where they're going to be struggling with how exactly to manage this additional cost. And so maybe one thing that may be possible is to maybe rotate the child care responsibility among the families that are dealing with this.
Are there any tax incentives that parents can look into?
So one of the major tax incentives that is out there is the dependent care credit. The thing to remember, though, is that with the dependent care credit, it is generally going to be available if you are having either a center or a child care provider care for your child while you are working. The one thing that won't qualify that may be an option for families and an option that they may want to weigh is maybe if you have an older child and a younger child, you can't take the child tax credit for paying your the dependent care credit. You can't take that if we're just paying the older child to take care of the younger one. So it would have to be to a center or to a child care provider that's out there in order to take advantage of that credit. But that is something that can mitigate some of the cost.
How would you budget for a change like this if you are a family, David?
I think that if you are looking at this as an additional cost that you need to take on, I think that we need to take a hard look at our budget, look at things like how we are getting to work, try to look for lower transportation cost opportunities. Maybe that's taking public transportation, maybe it's carpooling. I also think that working remotely may be a possibility, perhaps looking for a situation where you are able to work remotely so that you can take care of your child at the same time. I also think, too, that employers may have an opportunity here as well, because you have a lot of parents that are working and they want to work. And so, if an employer can offer childcare opportunities, that may be something to look into as well.
Anything else, David, that parents should know ahead of the end of the month expiration?
I think that the big thing that I have been telling clients, and I think a lot of financial advisors are talking to their clients about, is to look at ultimately after-tax cash flow. I mean, childcare can be very expensive, and so it's worth looking at not only, where can we cut costs in other parts of our budget, but also looking at that possibility of, perhaps, trying to share the cost among other families that are in the same situation, or even, again, having one of the parents stay home to take care of the child. I think that those are options that we need to look at. But whatever we do, we need to look at what's going to ultimately result in the best after-tax cash flow for the family.
All right, David Peters. David, thank you so much.